All right. So I just got booked. I'm crashing a sailing in just a couple weeks. And we price compared, me booking direct versus booking with us.
Yep.
This is a sold out sailing, so there's not a lot of deals to be had. But break it down for us, because you just told me some news that I didn't actually expect here.
Yeah, so it's exciting. It should be exciting for you because you're in a sea view.
It's better than a solo insider.
Yeah.
You like the solo insider.
I didn't mind it, yeah.
Did I at least get a deal on this sea view?
You did. I was able to get the price down a little bit from the web.
Okay, great.
And because you booked
$1,000 in sailor loot.
No.
Those are the 2023 days.
Yeah.
We are no longer in 2023.
Those were the days. You got $50.
I got 50. What can I?
Yeah.
That's 2 glasses in Moet.
Yeah.
I'm not going to complain.
Exactly.
In today's video, we are breaking down everything to know about deals, what it was before, what it is now, so we can kind of compare what it's like, because things have changed. Let's talk about why things have changed and more coming up. Ahoy, I'm Christine Lozada.
And I'm JC, top Virgin Voyages travel agent. Welcome to the podcast.
This is the Virgin Voyages Tips Podcast, an insider guide to navigating Virgin Voyages like a pro. Find it on every podcasting platform, on YouTube, and check the show notes for additional helpful info.
And how I can get you a great deal.
Let's dive in. All right, so I'm in a sea view coming up.
Yep.
And we know that deals look different now than what they were before, but let's kind of understand, can you give some examples of what the deals looked like before?
Yeah, so let's take a 4-night sailing, for example. It would be $600 in sailor loot. And then they also have some bar tab between $100 and $200. So it wasn't bad for a 4-night sailing.
For a 4-night sailing, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and back in the heyday, it was actually like $1,100, $1,200.
Actually, hold on, so that people can understand, because many people didn't even know Virgin existed until recently. It's gotten very, very popular. Mm-hmm. When would you consider the heyday?
Probably 2023, going into like 2024, maybe right at the beginning there. They started changing the offer, but...
We saw the offer change in that year alone.
Yeah.
A lot. In a way that it was hard to keep up with how frequently it was changing.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's kind of an example from the heyday. What would a deal look like now?
So today on a 4-night sailing, you're looking at, if you were to book today, because there's some offers going on, it would be $100 total in onboard credit.
Okay.
So it's not that great.
It's better than nothing.
Yeah, it's better than nothing. If you book direct, you're not going to get much, but they might give you 50.
Actually, this is a dangerous question that I kind of want to ask.
Yeah.
I'm curious about, because I bet others are curious as well, because it's like, okay, the deals have kind of gone down.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about what that's looked like in terms of popularity and understanding why it looks that way, which I'm not surprised. They're so popular now. It's annoying to try to walk into dinners these days, since you and I never book reservations before we're on board.
I know.
Maybe we should reconsider that.
Yeah.
But I'm scared to ask this question, but I'm curious. Have the deals gone down and have the prices gone up, or have the prices stayed consistent?
Yeah, I actually think the prices have gone down on certain sailings. I mean, I remember probably a year and a half ago, the 4-night was right around $2,200, $2,100.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing them for like $1,800, $1,900 right now. So it's, that's good. But if you go to the Mediterranean, those sailings are selling extremely well.
Got it. And for reference, the reason why I say it's a dangerous question is it's hard to apples compare sailings, because the time of year, right? Is it near a holiday?
Yeah.
There's a lot where it goes. All of those factors really change what the price is going to be.
Yeah.
But I think that's a good example around a 4-night sailing. I mean, I don't know. I still see, especially after the holidays, some of those 4-night Miami sailings being really inexpensive.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But they also sell out now.
Yeah.
Like the one we were just on. Actually, here's another dangerous question I'm asking. The 4-night sailing out of Miami, the Fire and Sunsets that we were on in January, which tends to be a time in which it's less expensive to sail after the holidays.
Yep.
Do you know what that price was for a sea terrace?
It was $1,800.
It was, so that was a great price.
Yeah.
But something really unexpected happened, which was in October, right? This sailing was January 2026. In October 2025, it was ship was empty.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to bid. Like,
Yeah.
I want a better room type than the Sea Terrace that I
Yeah.
had. You had the Rockstar Suites for Ryan and John. And then like come November, I was like, it's starting to fill up.
Yeah.
And then January, at the end of December, it was completely sold out.
Yeah.
And there were no more rooms
Yeah,
left.
it's gone.
And when just like flights, right?
Yeah.
As the plane fills up, the price gets higher. So I was also curious about this question because pricing is more confusing than ever given the tiers and everything. So that's helpful to know. Basically, deals have kind of decreased, but pricing has remained the same, if not gone down.
Yep.
Can you give one more example of like what a deal looked like before versus what a deal looks like now?
Yeah, I mean, there's, if you take like 5, 6 nights, 7 nights sailing out of Miami, they were probably around, let's say, $2,800 to $3,000 for 2. And, again, you'd get the $1,000 to $1,200 sail loop back in the day.
Yeah.
Today, those sailings, they're running about $2,800, $2,900, but they are coming with, depending on when the sailing is, like max right now would be $400 onboard credit.
Yeah.
When I do see one that's kind of interesting, like I sent you one the other day and you put it on Facebook, I mean, that was like $1,000 in onboard credit.
Yeah. So that is something that's really important is that deals do still exist.
Yeah, they do.
That was a rare one.
It was.
We're also looking at this all frickin' day long.
Yeah, that we are.
And actually, one thing I would recommend is if you want to be in the know about deals, both our Facebook group and the email list. I'm finally going to start writing emails. I've been a little bit busy on the ship lately.
Yeah.
But we're going to keep everyone in the know about the deals that you're seeing because that one was a great one.
It was.
That was Rockstar Room.
It was a Rockstar Room.
That was $1,000 in onboard credit.
Yeah, which is crazy. I haven't seen that in a long time.
Yeah. I remember when you told me and I was like, is that good these days? Because things change so fast.
Oh, yeah, they do.
But let's first talk about what's confusing most people right after this. Ahoy, sailors. Quick announcement from Christine popping in to remind you that the show notes or the description of this podcast has a ton of helpful info that most sailors miss. And one thing that's in there is a killer deal. There is a reason why other travel agents book with us. And even if you've already booked your sailing, it takes just 2 steps and 10 seconds to get a price comparison with us. So check the description and let's get back to the episode. All right, so we're going to talk about 3 things that I think are important things to talk about, which is 1, what is confusing most sailors today? And the next part is going to be around like should you wait for a better deal? Like, is this a good deal? Like, should I wait? Let's talk about that. And then let's also talk about like, why? And this is an opinion piece, which is why we're saving it to the end. Most people don't care about my opinion. That's all right. But we're going to talk about why it looks different now, because I already know most people are going to be like, that's not fair. Like, how dare they change deals? Like, how dare they launch and be a brand new cruise line that no one knows about and offer deals, but now that they're insanely popular, not really offer deals because they don't need to. Yeah. That's a spoiler alert. Yeah. But let's talk about what confuses people, because some of the language that Virgin uses hooks people really well, but they don't understand what that means. So walk us through that. Yeah.
So if you go to their website, I hear this all the time. You see the $300 bar tab, $300 sailor loop. Yeah. That's not necessarily the case. It is if you're booking a Rockstar.
But in the beautiful tiny font, it says
up to.
Yeah, it says 2 keywords, which is up to. Yeah. Up to 300 in onboard, up to 300 in bar tab. Yeah. And that's not the same thing as guaranteed. Book a room type and get that, right? Yeah. Yeah.
It's based on the length of the sailing. If you're looking at a sailing that's like 10 plus nights and you're looking at a Rockstar room, you're going to get that.
Yeah.
But if you're looking at a 5-night Grand Turk sailing out of Miami and you're looking at a Sea Terrace room, it's not going to be anywhere near that.
Wait. What about a 4-night Miami solo insider?
It will be 0. But if you book with us, you get something.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Really?
Yeah.
Did I have something during my solo insider?
Let's not talk about what you had.
I did not like that room. You can check out that video. You loved the solo.
Yeah, I didn't mind it. Yeah, it's like a little cave of darkness.
Yeah, you also don't have 5,000 outfits that you change into every day. And 9 cameras in your room.
And I work in the galley every day. You work in your room.
I work in the room.
So it's a little bit, yeah, it's cramped. I could see that.
Focus. All right. All right. Where were we? All right. What else confuses people? The up to language is confusing people. Is there anything else?
Yeah, I mean, about the one thing that you mentioned about, is it a good time to book? That's always the biggest question. Is now the time?
Right.
Right now is the time. I mean, this is the wave sale. This is something that all the cruise lines have once a year. It's always in January, February.
Yep.
Virgin starts theirs in November. So
They did. They started it really early.
They did.
And it kind of ran for a long time.
Yeah. And I think in March it's gonna drop. They're gonna drop from 80 to probably 70, I'm guessing.
Yep.
And they'll drop some of the bar tab off. So.
80 meaning 80% off second sailor, moving to 70% off second sailor.
Yeah, correct. So I think that's gonna drop. So I think now is a good time to do it because of what the sale is, what the offers are. But one thing to keep in mind also is, Virgin does allow you to reprice at one time. So you just want to be cautious of that. I'll book people for 2027 sale and they'll email me like 2 weeks later and they're like, hey, it dropped $25. And I'm like, are you sure you want to use this one time?
Yeah.
Because it could drop hundreds as you get closer.
That's actually a really good point because I think one of the challenges and what you're hearing is this dynamic pricing, right? Like depending on like how Virgin is seeing the demand for the sailings, which generally is why I'm like, if there's something you want, book it before that ship fills up.
Yeah, for sure.
It kind of, sometimes the price will go down.
Yeah.
But more often than not, the price will go up.
Correct.
Normally, I would just jump onto, like, if that's the sailing I know I want, I just want to book it immediately and have it. Because as the ship fills up, the price will go up. But occasionally we see the price go down.
Correct.
And so being able to lock in at a price, but have the ability to reprice later, depending on how it's booked, sometimes just once, you have one time to reprice. That is an option. And honestly, that can give you a little bit of like breathing room. This is a dangerous question to ask. What's the craziest reprice you've seen?
I actually had one probably a couple weeks ago and I alerted Normal on the boat. I was like, I just want to let you know.
For those who don't know who Normal is, he's not just anybody on the ship. It's also ship, not boat. Come on, Tracy, you get it right. Hello. Just because 99% of people call it boat doesn't mean you're allowed to, because 99% of people will put comments about, it's a ship, Christine. And I'm like, man, the crew calls it a boat. Like,
I know.
Normal is the CEO of Virgin Voyages. And what did you tell him?
Yeah, I mean, so they're cautious on big price swings.
Yeah.
And they've been pretty good about it over the last year. But I saw a pretty big one where I had to reprice, and it was like $1,000 cheaper. Which is huge.
Wow, yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, so if you're, and it's complicated. So that's why it's always good to book with us, because I'm going to tell you what it's going to look like, because it's not always that great to sit there and do a reprice.
Yeah.
Because you could lose all your bar tab. Let's say that offer is not available anymore. And when I do a reprice, it's what the offer is that day. So you got to keep that in mind. Also, people are thinking they're going to get all that money back. They're, if you're outside of 120 days, you'll get it back on your credit card. If you're inside of 120 days and 45, it'll be a future voyage credit.
So you know what this makes me think of as I'm listening to you? I think one of the things a lot of people ask me about is like, all right, so deals are not as good as they used to be, but like, what's the benefit of booking with you guys? And aside from, we will get you the best deal out there. Like, I'm listening to you and I'm like, this is very specific knowledge.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
It is.
And it's one of those things where a lot of times when you explain to me, I'll be like, hey, so-and-so just gave me a call. I just talked them through their sailing. They seem unhappy. Why is this? And then you'll explain to me like this weird caveat that's going on. And I'm like, we are doing right by them.
Yeah.
And we are doing, like, we really are giving them the best that they could possibly get.
Yeah.
But it's really hard for them to understand. Because, like, buying a Virgin Voyages cruise is not like strolling into Pura Vida and grabbing a disgusting oat milk coffee that you drink. That's so gross. Oat milk, like, no, that's just not for me. It's not like going and just buying something at the grocery store, right? There's a little bit of complication depending on how you're buying it, when you're buying it, and all these things, and what kind of deals that we can add to it based off of what's going on. But the thing about it is that it's not like you've booked a dozen people and you've seen a dozen use cases.
No.
You have seen thousands
Oh yeah,
of
thousands.
bookings
Yeah.
and thousands of unique cases.
Yes.
And so the thing about this is like, do you want to be booking with somebody who's like, oh yeah, like I booked myself, or like I've booked a couple cruises, and then like weird thing, because Virgin's new, and we're going to talk about this in a second. Virgin's a new cruise line, and they're still trying to figure a lot of things out, right?
Yep.
And I mean, if you want to go chat with Nirmal, you can, because as a top 10 Virgin Voyages first mate, we have that kind of access to the team to be like, hey, this is wrong. Or in the event where it's like someone's, I don't know, booking went up by a lot or something, you can call them and be like, this is wrong.
Yeah.
But can just any travel agent do that? Or you calling Sailor Services and waiting on the phone for what are the current wait? We're not going to talk about the current wait times. I'll just say my hair will grow 3 more inches in the time I will spend waiting on hold for Sailor Services, which is why you are my Sailor Services.
Yeah, I'm Sailor Services. And that's the other thing. I mean, a lot of people are like, hey, I called Sailor Services and I need them to do XYZ, and I held for X. I'm like, just message me and I'll do it. It takes me 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And so, but I will say, to go back to the Virgin team, they are very open to feedback. So it's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, I have made feedback to them, and it has
we've made
change.
Yeah, we've made changes that have really benefited, because we are looking out for you guys.
Yeah.
Okay, so we kind of covered like what's confusing people these days. We've talked about like deals, what they look like before and after. We talked about like that best deal lately, waiting for deals. Let's address, because I'm curious your opinion. I actually didn't know this answer until I kind of like prompted you on this right before we filmed this. Is let's talk opinion-wise. What's changed about deals with Virgin Voyages and why we think they've changed? Because I think the key thing to start with is, let's not forget, Virgin Voyages launched during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Their first sailing in the U.S. was late 2021. Did you know that?
Yeah.
It was late 2021 because they started over in the UK.
Yep.
My first sailing. Do you know when my first sailing is?
I don't.
I didn't know.
Sea rover though.
I didn't know you back then.
No.
I don't even know if I'm a sea rover. My first sailing was the Valentine's sailing. It was early 2022.
Oh, okay.
So I was on one of the first sailings out of the U.S., out of Miami. It was the Valentine's Day sailing, 2022. When was yours?
I want to say it was early 23. That doesn't sound right though. It might have been summer of 2022. I was on a casino comp actually.
Were you wearing masks on the ship or no?
Yes.
Yeah. So that was 2022.
Okay.
We were wearing masks. You had to do the COVID testing.
Yeah.
All of those things.
Yes.
I had somewhere around 800 people on my sailing. It was definitely less than 1,000.
Okay.
How about you?
Yeah, probably around 1,100, I want to say.
And as a reminder, 2770 is the number of sailors that can be on the ship. They'll never put more than 2670. They'll always put 100 less than that. But basically 2600 is the maximum amount. Let's just put that out there of how many people. So these numbers we're talking about are very, very low.
Yeah.
These days, of the sailings you've done in the last year, have you ever had a capacity of less than 90%?
I don't think so.
Neither have I.
No.
In the last 12 months, I have sailed close to 20 times on Virgin. That's a lot of times. And that's a lot of, I love meeting you guys. When the ship is at like 96% capacity, I get to meet a lot of people, especially when I'm doing 20 sailings in a year.
Yep.
But it's busy. So like back then, it's like enticing people to come on the ship, right?
Yeah,
and a lot of people had hesitations.
Oh, yeah.
Virgin cruises differently.
Correct.
That's that sex cruise, or that's that swingers cruise. And like, it wasn't, right? But their marketing was very provocative.
Yeah.
So a lot of people thought that.
Yeah.
And so they were enticing people to come try it with all the deals.
Correct.
And lots of people did.
Oh, they did.
The pricing was there. The deals were there. Like everything was there. I mean, that 1,100 in Sailor Loot that I had on that one, so you should watch that video. I spends it.
Yeah.
But they don't need to offer it like that these days anymore, because not only that, people are coming back.
Oh, yeah.
Like, how many times have you rebooked the same person on their next cruises?
Yeah, the repeat rate's high with Virgin.
Yeah.
So lots of...
I was just talking about a sailor with you, and I was like, oh, yeah, I've sailed with her, 3 times or so. And not we booked the sailing together. I've run into her on the ship.
Yeah.
And then I told you, I was like, in the grand scheme of Christine running into people again on the ship.
Yeah.
I mean, I have people I've sailed with 6, 7 times, ran into them on the ship all the time.
Yeah.
There's so many regulars. So people come back and Virgin doesn't need to offer such a big deal.
Yep.
But it also speaks to the experience around how people are happy.
Yeah.
All right. So that's deals. We are always looking out for you. Book your sailing with us and we got you. This has been another episode of Virgin Voyages Tips Podcast. If it was helpful, please share it with somebody. And we want you to book your sailing with us. We'd love to help you set sail because we're here for you every step of the way. A reminder to check the show notes. Things on Virgin Voyages changes all the time, and you'll find more helpful links and resources in the description. We'll see you in the next episode.